Okay. So today we're gonna start with the book number 1. Okay. So I'm gonna share the PPT with you. I've made a PowerPoint presentation, to make you understand the things. Look, I've got two options to teach you. Either I can teach you through textbook or I can teach you through PowerPoint presentation. So I've got two options, but I think teaching you through PowerPoint presentation is much better than to teach you through textbook. But I'll definitely teach you through textbook as well, wherever it will be required to do that. Okay. And I'll try to add as much as good things in PPT as I can, so that you can get the good understanding of the concepts and good understanding of the chapters. All right, so here I go. I'm gonna start sharing my page with you, and I hope you all will see that. So here I go. Okay. So kindly text me, hurry up, if you can see the page that I'm sharing with you or the screen that I'm sharing with you. Kindly text me. So here I go. Okay. So this is the PPT that's there on your screen. I'm sure you all can see that. I'm sure. Kindly text me if you can see the PPT that I've opened up for all of you. Okay. Okay, Tavisha. So it's visible. Okay. So as you all know that, yes. Okay. So as you all are aware of the fact that in the previous class, I discussed the introduction of this particular subject. Okay, and I think it was extremely important to do that, because it's really important to know what the subject wants to teach us. It's really important to know the essence, the nature that the subject has, in order to have the further understanding of the things. That's why in the last class that I took with you, I just try to share as much as things as I can. So discussion was very important, and moreover this subject, sociology, is more of a discussion based subject. We got to discuss different things, and that really gives us clarity of the subjects, right? So today we're going to start with the book number 1, that is Introducing Sociology. The name of the book is Introducing Sociology, and we're going to start with the chapter number 1, right? So we're going to start with the chapter number 1, that is Sociology and Study. Okay, and obviously, as usual, we're going to start with the introduction of this particular chapter. Okay, now it is a scientific and comprehensive study of society. When I'm saying scientific, then what does it mean? It means that something which is based on experience, something which is based on testing, something which is based on our observations, right? Nothing can be called as scientific unless it is, it has certain observations behind, unless it has certain evidences behind, unless it has certain experiences or the things that we notice, observe. All these things are extremely important to understand, right? So that's the reason we call it as a scientific and comprehensive study of society. We call this subject that it really helps us to get the scientific overview. It really helps us to get the comprehensive study of this particular subject. That's the reason we say that this subject is a scientific and comprehensive study of a society, right? So it is a comprehensive and scientific study of the society, and it's a systematic study, right? So I'm sure you have got the idea that what does I mean when I'm saying that it is scientific in nature, something which is based on testing, something which is based on experience, something which is based on observation, something which is based on experiences, right? So that's the reason it is a scientific and comprehensive study of the society, right? Okay, so next line. The very origin of the word sociology comes from the Latin word. Look, you have to see my cursor. Where my cursor is going, I'm going along with the lines and also reading it along. So you have to remain vigilant in the class. You have to remain attentive in the class to actually know what I'm trying to make you understand. All right. So I hope you understood the first point, that it is a scientific and comprehensive study of society, right? And then we're going to understand the origin. Now the word has been origin from the word socius. It's a Latin word which means companion, and the Greek word logi, which means study, to indicate as a hybrid discipline. Now, what does it mean when I'm saying social? Socius means companion, right? Now, what do you understand when I'm saying companion? Companion means there is an interrelationship in the society. There is interconnectedness among the different institutions, among the human beings, among the different organizations that are there in the society. There is a, sense of companionship between all the between all the individuals and between all the institutions. So there is a link, there is interconnectedness that exists in a society. That's what companion word actually means here. And then logi means study. So the study of interconnectedness, the study of interdependentness that is there in the society. So we study all those things, right, in this particular subject. And it's a hybrid discipline. In the last class I told you that it is a multidisciplinary subject. Something that is multidisciplinary means it is hybrid in nature. Hybrid means something that is a mixture of different things, something that is a blend of many things. So that's the reason we call this subject as a hybrid discipline or multidisciplinary subject. Okay, now going on to the third point. I told you in the last class that this word was actually coined by Auguste Comte, who is also known as father of this particular subject, father of sociology. And there are other sociologists as well who contributed a lot in the emergence of this particular subject. So they are like, I've already told you Auguste Comte, then Emile Durkheim, then Spencer is there, Max Weber is there. So all these sociologists, really, put their efforts to emerge this subject or to help to emergence in this subject as a separate discipline. So it was important role that they all these sociologists played in the emergence of this particular subject. Okay. And it's a group of people who share common culture, occupy a territory area, and are bound to each other by a common history. Look, when I'm saying a common culture, then remember that every society is a unique culture, isn't it? Isn't it like that? It is definitely like that. Every society has a unique culture, and every society follows certain rules and regulations and rituals and customs and traditions and values that every society has. So that's the reason we call it every society has its own culture. And I've already told you that under culture, there are certain things that come, like your customs, traditions, values, rituals, belief system, laws are also connected to a particular society, to a particular culture. So every society has its unique nature. And that's what we study here in this particular subject. We study different culture, and every society has a unique culture. Okay. And obviously every society has a territorial area. When I'm saying territorial area, then what does it mean? It means that a particular society is determined or decided on the basis of the territories that a particular society has. It has always got specified territories. It has always got specified boundaries that makes up a society. Like we can say that India is a society, Indian society. If I not divide this society further, although there are further divisions that are there in the Indian society, there are pluralities that are there in the Indian society. But if I look at India as an Indian society, then we will say that yes, India will definitely have a territorial area, because India has a definitely a boundary, and obviously India has a different culture from other countries. So that's the reason we can say that India has a common culture. Seeing India as a whole, we can say that India has a common culture. That is what Indian culture is all about. And obviously India occupy a particular territory means India has a certain boundary. That's what it means here. And obviously we have common history, isn't it like that? I'm just trying to make you understand this particular thing. As far as our nation is concerned, I'm not going state-wise to explain you things. I'm not going specifically into the things. I'm just telling you the overview, that we say that Indian culture, we say that India has a particular territory, and we also say that we have a common history, right? We all have gone through that, colonial period. We all have gone through that, phase of freedom struggle that we did for our country, or to make our country, independent. So we have a common history in that sense. We have common culture in that sense, and we have got territorial areas as well. Okay. Now, societies may be simple, may be complex, right? I believe that India is a complex society, because there are further divisions that are there in the Indian society. And when we talk about the caste system, especially when we talk about the institution of caste, we have got plenty of division that is there in the caste system. So I always say that India is a complex society, but there are certain societies that are simple as well. So it's a blend. Some societies are pretty simple, and some societies are complex in nature. So it depends from countries to countries, it depends from societies to societies, it depends upon, states to states. So that's what I mean to, make you understand here. It's a natural to human being. Now remember that societies are always natural to human beings. We never try to make a society. It, becomes automatically by the interaction of different people, by the linkage of different people, by interplay of different human beings. Society automatically builds. So that's the reason we call it, we call that it is a natural to, it is natural to human beings. All right. So I'm sure you are understanding what I'm trying to make you understand here. We all are social beings. We cannot survive without a society. We human beings cannot attain our goals alone. We want a society. The society provides us security, relationship, identity, and sense of belongingness, right? So there are always certain, emotions and sentiments that are there in the society, right? We got a lot of security from the society. We get security from us, from our family as well. There are relationships in the society. We belong to different institutions. They all play their role, to serve our needs, to cater our needs, right? I told you yesterday that educational institution is an, it's a kind of an institution that is providing the need of, catering the need of providing education to the society, providing education to the people. And that's what exactly happened. And in the similar way, we have got medical institutions as well in the form of hospitals, right? They provide you that service of good health and medical services, aren't they? They do that. And in the similar way, our Bollywood, what does it do? It does the, it does provide the, the responsibility of entertainment. Then we have got different institutions, you just name it, they are many in number. Okay, so we are secure because of the different institutions that are working in the society. So society and human beings are actually interrelated to each other, and they, they actually are interdependent and they are related to each other, right? The society provides us security, relationship, identity, and sense of belongingness. Obviously, when we belong to a particular society, it is a kind of identity to us, isn't it? Isn't it like that? It really is kind of an identity to us, and we always belong to a particular society, and that's why we say that we are belonging to a particular society. So it is somewhere heralding, it is somewhere giving us the hint that we have a certain identity and we have certain sense of belongingness to a particular society. All right. And society is mandatory not only for mere survival but for a good life. Remember that society is not about, mere survival. It is not about, just, surviving and, living your life. It is also, provide us, or it also renders us a good life, because it, caters different needs, and it provides us different services, right? So that's what, sociology, society did for us. Okay. Okay. Then it is a continuous process. It is not imposed upon people. It goes on as a natural process. Social relations are the base of social structure. Society can be understood in its abstract as well as in its concrete form. Now, what does this particular paragraph means? This means that society just goes on. It's a never-ending process. It's an everlasting process. It is eternal. It just goes on and goes on. It's a continuous process, right? And it is not something that is, imposed upon people. It is not something that is, forcefully charged on the people. It is not at all like that. It is just going on. There is an interdependentness that is there in the society, but it just goes on and goes on, and it is not, charged or imposed on people, and it goes on as a natural process. Yes, it is a natural process. It just goes on. It's a natural process, right? And there are different, changes that come in the society with the passage of time, but still we say that it is a continuous process. Can you say that society is ending? No, we never say it like that. It just continues and continues from our previous generations to our future generations. It will just continue and continue. So that's the reason we call it as a natural process, right? And society can be understood in its abstract as well as in its concrete form. Now, what does it mean when I'm saying that it is abstract or it is in concrete form? Abstract is something. When I'm saying abstract, then it is something that is in our mind, that is in our mind the form of ideas, something that is theoretical, something that is not practical, right? So our feelings, sentiments are all those things that are there in our mind, and we call it as abstract form. So it has existence. I'm talking about the society. It has existence both in its abstract and in its concrete form. There are certain things in society that we can really just feel it, and they are just, we just can't feel it, and we just can't see it. And there are different things that are concrete, means something that we can see in the form of different institutions that, give us different services. So there are things that we can see, and that comes under concrete form, and there are things that we cannot see, and that are just based on feelings and just based on sentiments, just something that is there in our mind only, that is abstract. But concrete is something that is opposite to abstract, something which, we can see the role, different as institutions play in the society. That is what concrete is all about, right? And the main characteristics of the society are interdependence. I've already told you that there is a nature of interdependence that is there in the society. Cooperation is there in the society. Everyone is cooperating each other, right? Everyone is cooperating each other. Everyone is supporting each other in the society. That's how society is running. And there are conflicts as well. Some people who have opposite opinions, some people who have, different opinions regarding a particular thing, they may end up with conflict, right? There is mutual awareness, means people are, aware of certain things, and there is mutual awareness, means people are, people have common understanding regarding some things. When I talk about, the feeling that we have got for our nation, then we say that it is a feeling of nationalism, patriotism. What is patriotism? What is the feeling of nationalism? These things are something that we are, as a society, as a whole society, are mutually aware, right? We all are, have common thing in us, and that is mutual awareness in the form of nationalism, patriotism that we have for our nation, all right? And similarities, differences, people have similarities in their opinions, people have differences in their opinions, and some people are, some people like certain things, some people don't like certain things. And abstract in terms of relationship and dynamism in nature. When I'm saying abstract in terms of relationship, then it means that I've already told you that abstraction is something that is related to something that is there in our mind, something that is, in the form of feeling, something that is in the form of sentiments. That's what abstraction is all about. And its opposite is concrete, something that has some physical existence, something which has got some, physical existence or physical, I would say that something which has got, something that can be seen, right? That's what I mean here when I'm saying concrete. And abstract means something that is based on feelings and sentiment and all those things. And dynamism is always there, remember that there are always changes that come in the society, change is the law of nature. We all know that, it just happens in the society. Society just changes from one period to another, and that's what is happening from last, last many centuries. I would say India was, a different, country before colonialism, and then India became a different country altogether during colonial period. Then India after independence, it changed its nature. So it just, changes, and changes comes in the form of dynamism that we talk about this particular society. Then I'm going to talk about what? Okay, individual and society, right? We all know that individual and society are directly related to each other. Both are complementary, right? Complementary means something, they both complete each other, right? They are incomplete without the existence of one. If society is not there, human beings are incomplete. And if human beings are not there, then society is incomplete, right? So they are complementary to each other. They provide completeness to each other. That's what complementary means here. The individuals live in collective activities, not due to compulsion, but by necessity. Look, we all are living in this society. It's not because of a compulsion. There is no compulsion. There is not, there is not a feeling of mandatoriness that is there in the society. If we are living in this society, it's because of a necessity. We have to, we have to fulfill certain needs. That's the reason we are supporting our society, and in return society is supporting us. So it's a complementary process, isn't it? And it's not, we have to, be compliant, or we have to have certain complications, right? Or we have to have certain compulsions that, that really needs to be there. It's not something like that. Human beings and their societies are inseparable. Although we are human beings, have certain complaints and rebellions, conventional as well as unorthodox, right? And submissive and aggressiveness, that is sort of contradiction and functioning with opposite. Obviously, some people have certain complaints in the societies, and some people, due to that, also rebel or fight for their rights. It happens almost in every society, right? Some people are submissive in nature, means they give up very easily. They don't fight for their rights, and they just go with the society as it is going on. But some people on the other hand are aggressive. They are, you know, not conventional. They are unorthodox, means they always wants to bring changes in the society. They always fight for their rights. They always, you know, try to convince people what they want to actually do in the society. So all these kind of things exist in the society, right? So it's all over, I would say, is a mixture of functioning of you know, opposing forces that are particularly there in the society. And I'm going to talk about then after this. So this was a kind of an introduction of this chapter, right? And now we're going to start with this particular concept, right? So I hope you are understanding what I'm trying to make you understand here. So this is the concept, right, that we need to understand here. So it's a sociological imagination, right? Basically, it's a book. Sociological imagination is a book that is written by C. Wright Mills. C. Wright Mills is an American sociologist who had written a book named The Sociological Imagination, right? I'm sure you have understood the introduction of this chapter, right? It was very much pluralistic in nature, right? We had to understand certain things, but remember that with the passage of time, you're definitely going to understand everything as we will proceed further to understand this chapter, right? Initially, these things, you know, these things may seem difficult, but eventually you're going to feel like everything is pretty easy, because I'm going to cover everything with a lot of clarity. You know, I'll definitely render you that clarity that you all need, right? So this is the concept that we have actually, now we have come up with this particular concept. This concept talks about, I've got the message, let me read this. Okay. Okay. So it's a sociological imagination is a book. As I've already told you, this is written by C. Wright Mills, who is an American sociologist. And in this book, what he says is that he talks about the personal problems and he talks about the public issues. So in this particular book, Sociological Imagination, he tries to make us understand the relation, the link that is there between personal problems and public issues. He says that personal problem and public issues are actually interrelated to each other, right? That's what he tries to make us understand through his book, and especially through his particular work that he has done in this particular field. So what he says here is that C.W. Mills, C. Wright Mills. So Sociological Imagination is a book written by sociologist C. Wright Mills in 1959. According to him, personal problems and public issues are interrelated. So as I've already told you that personal problems and public issues are interrelated, this is what C. Wright said, in his book. And he gives the example of homeless couple. Now, what does it mean when I'm saying homeless couple, or when this particular C. Wright Mills person, who's an American sociologist, is saying it's a homeless couple? Look, homeless couple means, or you can also call it as homeless family, right? Suppose there is a couple, homeless couple, a man and a woman, or there is a family that has, become homeless. So it is a personal problem for a family, or it is a personal problem for that couple who has become homeless. They don't have, house to live, they don't have shelter they don't have shelter under which they live. So this is a personal problem. I can understand this, but this is a public issue as well. How we can say this? We just can't, as a student of sociology, we just can't, think homeless couple or problem of homeless couple or problem of homeless family. We just can't think it as a personal problem. We just can't do that, right? We need to understand it's a public issue also, because a homeless couple is a group of people, or a homeless family is a group of people that is related to a society as well. So something that is related to our society can be understood as a public issue, right? Because it is the humans, it is the persons, it is individuals that actually make up a society. So we have to understand this concept in both the terms. We have to understand this concept as a personal problem. Also, we have to understand this as a public issue as well, right? So that's what C. Wright Mills wants all of us to understand here, because human beings are something that makes up a society, right? So just can't, you know, limit our thinking to a place or to a point that no, this is just a personal problem. We just can't think like that. We have to think in the other way, in the broader aspect also. So you can say that personal problem is a, you know, is a very narrow thinking, but when we talk about the public issue, it's a very broader thinking. It's a broader concept to understand. So C. Wright Mills wants to, wants to teach us the relation that's there between personal problem and public issues. Okay, I'm sure you all understanding what I'm trying to make you understand here. So C. Wright Mills rests his vision of the sociological imagination precisely in unraveling. Unraveling means, you know, to unleash, to try to understand that personal problem and public issues are interrelated. Okay, the sociological imagination enables us to grasp history and biography and the relations between the two within the society. Look, when we are talking about homeless couple, or when we're talking about, you know, we can also take another examples, right? Unemployment. People are now getting in employment. So this can also be understood in both the aspects. This can also be understood as a personal problem. This can be also understood as a public issue. For a personal problem, someone who is not getting employment, someone who is actually unemployed, we can say that it is his personal problem. But we can also understand that in a public issue, because when most of the people are not getting employment, then it becomes public issue. For individual also it becomes public issue, but for many people it automatically becomes public issue, right? And we always think that if more are, you know, facing a particular kind of problem, then only we convert that into public issue. But we never convert a problem of a single person to public issue, but we have to do it. That's what John Wright Mill wants to say here. And, you know, I'm just giving you more and more explanation so that you can understand, or, you know, this concept goes into your mind and you can retain it for a longer time. So he says that it precisely means correctly, he says that unraveling of how personal problem social issues are interrelated. The sociological imagination enables us to grab history and biography. So what he means to say here is that he says that when someone is, you know, going through a particular problem, then it's not like we just see the present condition of that particular person. It's not important. But what's more important is to know the history. What's more important is to know the biography. What's more important is to know the life of a particular person. Why that particular person has become unemployment, gain unemployment. Why that particular couple has, you know, become homeless couple. Why does it happen? So we try to understand it because we want to have the welfare of the society, right? Sociology not only studies society, but sociology also, you know, tries to understand what welfare programs and policies government should adopt in order to have a welfare of the society, in order to have good well-being of the society, right? So that's the reason I always try to connect the personal problems to the public issues, so that those issues can be addressed, so that those issues can be, you know, solved. That's the reason sociological or perspective or sociologists think like that. Okay, so it's important for us to grasp the history. It's important for us to grasp the biography of a particular person. You know, then only we can really understand the reasons. Then only we can understand the, you know, the reasons or the factors that are behind to a particular situation. If a particular couple has become homeless, if they don't have shelter to live under, then we always try to understand their history. We always try to understand their biography, that how their life have has gone through what kind of circumstances. So we try to understand the history, we try to understand the biography, means life of a particular situation or particular problem. Then only we can really come on the conclusion and try to understand that what kind of things that can be done to address and solve the problems. All right. And the most fruitful distinction with which the sociological imagination works is between the personal troubles of the milieu and the public issues of the social structure. Personal trouble of the milieu means personal troubles of the environment, personal troubles of the social atmosphere. Here milieu means social atmosphere. Here milieu means social environment. Here milieu means environment or atmosphere. You know, in whatever sense you can understand this particular aspect in particular word, right? And the public issues of the social structure. Public issues are always related to social structure, because under social structure we always have a broader sense of understanding things. We always have a broader view to understand the things. That's the reason public issues are always related to social structure. If there will be a problem in social structure, it will automatically come as a public issue. And if there will be problem in social atmosphere or social I would say environment, then it will always like a personal issue. Okay, so that's what you need to understand here. and we try to understand that why troubles or personal troubles. Here it is written that trouble means personal trouble. Why personal troubles occur within the character. Okay, but troubles occur within the character of the individual and with the range of his immediate relationship with others. They have to do with his self and with those limited areas of social life of which he's directly or personally aware. Then issues have to do with the matters that transcend these local environments of the environment and the range of enough life. Neither the life of an individual nor the history of a society can be understood without understanding both. Now, what does all these lines, or what does what does this particular paragraph means? This means that trouble means personal troubles, issue means public issues. You got to understand this, right? You have to understand this particular thing. So personal trouble mostly occurs because there is a problem in a particular individual, and that happens within the character of the individual, right? What kind of relations a particular individual has with others. The personal problem actually comes out of that. That's what John Wright Mill wants us to understand here. And issues are something that are beyond, transcend. Look what is written here. I'm using my cursor to show you. Transcend means something that is beyond, right? When we talk about personal troubles, that always occurs, that always happens in local environment. When we talk about public issues, then they are something that go beyond the local environment, that go beyond the local atmosphere. That's the reason they become public issues, right? So that's what I mean to say here. And when there are personal troubles, then the troubles are there in the local environment. Then the troubles are there in the milieu. I told you about the troubles of the milieu. So that's there in the life of a particular individual, right? That's what happened. So it also tells us the relationship that particular person has with others. So it is what that is going on in a personal sphere or personal scenario only. So this is personal troubles are something that is related to self, that is related to local environment. But when we talk about the issues, especially public issues, they go beyond local environments, right? Go beyond local environments, and then only they become public issues. Then only they become more highlight, and they come out in a more intensity rather than personal troubles. But there is a relation, there is a comparison, there is an interconnectedness between public issues and personal issues. Okay, and neither the life of an individual nor the history of a society can be understood. Look, we cannot understand the life of an individual, we cannot understand the history of a particular society without understanding both. So it's actually a blending, it's a mixture of both the things. For understanding a society, we need to understand the life of people also, and for understanding the life of people, we need to understand the history of society. So history of society and personal problems or life of a particular person are interrelated. We got to understand both the things, right, in order to have the understanding of a particular society, right? So that's what John Wright Mill understands or wants us to understand here. And this is what sociological imagination is all about, right? So we have completed this particular topic. I hope you have understood this. Kindly text me if you have any doubt, or if you have understood this particular aspect, then only text me, right? Because I need your feedback. I want to know your feedback. That is really important. That is like paramount for me, right? So kindly text me if you have understood today's lecture or today's class. Kindly text me. Tavisha, Ayushi. Okay. And what about Tavisha? Okay. Can you please again explain the fourth point? Okay. Fourth point. 1, 2, 3, 4. Tavisha, are you talking about the troubles occur within the character of the individual? Are you talking about that point? Okay. So you're talking about that point. Okay. Look what happens. Troubles occur within the character of the individual and within the range of his immediate relationships with others. They have to do with his self and with those limited areas of social life of which it is directly and personally aware. Look what happens here is that Since I have told you that personal troubles are always there in the milieu. Milieu means local environment. Personal troubles are always there in local environment, is always there in local atmosphere of an individual, right? It is not going beyond that. And personal troubles are always related to our personal life. How we can say this? We can say this by understanding the relationship of an individual with others. Are we making good relationship with others? With others means with different institutions. Are we able to balance the balance our feelings or balance our sentiments in our society? Are we able to maintain an equilibrium in the society, or we are complaining about everything, or we are not trying to understand the situations? Some people are very unorthodox. Some people always have complained regarding certain things, and they always try to look for the negativity. So that negativity is always there in a character of a particular person, right? That is always there in a particular person. And that's how relationships are established. If a particular person is ignorant, if a particular person is having certain attitude towards different things, I'm not saying only human beings, but to different things, if a person has a negative mindset regarding things, then he's definitely going to have problems. He's definitely going to find it difficult to adjust in the society. He's definitely going to have struggles. He's definitely going to have certain obstacles or barriers, and he's not going to cope with all those things. So these things somewhere at the one point or the another give rise to the personal troubles, right? Maybe when I'm talking about homeless couple, maybe that couple had a fight with their family. Maybe that couple had kind of a fight or argument with their family members. That's why they have become homeless. Are you trying to understand me, what I'm trying to make you understand? So the personal troubles always gives rise to the personal issues, right? Or personal problem that exist. And it is mostly because of the character problem. It's mostly because of the self problems that we create ourselves. And eventually those self problems, or those those troubles give rise to the personal troubles, right? Those gives rise to the your public issues. So from personal problems, it becomes your public issue, right? So that's what happened. Have you understood now? Tavisha, kindly text me, because I'm just left with very less time. Now, have you understood this? What I've tried to, what I've tried to make you understand? Okay. So, okay. So the time has come to say you goodbye. God bless you. God bless you all. Until then, take care all. Stay safe. Stay at home. And bye bye. Okay.